Remember when TV families had just one car, and it was usually some boring sedan? Well, the Brady Bunch changed all that. They had this groovy station wagon that became almost as famous as the family itself.
Get out of the door.
But here's the thing. That wagon had more secrets than you might think. What if I told you it wasn't even the same car from season to season? Or that it had a mysterious rivalry with Mike Brady's convertible? Today we're counting down 20 weird facts about the Brady Bunch wagon that'll make you see this 70s icon in a whole new light. And trust me, some of these are gonna blow your mind. So buckle up, because this ride is about to get weird. And hey, if you enjoy uncovering TV's strangest automotive secrets, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Number 20. The Wagon was actually a Plymouth satellite. Most people just remember it as the Brady Wagon, that big wood-paneled family hauler. But here's what you probably didn't know. It was specifically a Plymouth satellite station wagon, not a Ford, not a Chevy, a Plymouth. And this wasn't some random choice by the prop department. Chrysler had a deal with the show. They provided the vehicles, well, most of them anyway. The satellite was Plymouth's mid-size offering at the time. It sat between the smaller Valiant and the full-size Fury, perfect for a blended family of 8. The name Satellite was actually pretty fitting when you think about it. The car orbited around the Brady family's adventures like a satellite. It showed up whenever they needed to haul the whole crew somewhere. Beach trips, camping adventures, even just grocery runs that required hauling food for 6 kids. The satellite came with a V8 engine standard, usually the 318 cubic inch version, though some models had the bigger 383. Either way, it had enough power to move all those Bradys around, plus any friends, dogs, or camping gear they decided to bring along. What made it even more distinctive was that Plymouth positioned the satellite as their intermediate wagon. Not too big, not too small, just right for suburban families who wanted something practical but not boring. Sound familiar? That's basically the Brady family philosophy right there. And Plymouth knew exactly what they were doing by putting their wagon in America's favorite family sitcom. Number 19. Carol's wagon changed every single year. Here's where things get really weird. You know how most TV shows use the same car for years? Maybe they'll switch it out once or twice over the entire run. Not the Brady Bunch. Carol's station wagon changed every single year from 1969 to 1973. Every single year. And we're not talking about minor updates or a new paint job. These were completely different model years, with different trim, different badges, different styling. It's like Carol Brady had the world's best lease deal. The progression went like this. In 1969, she drove a 69 Satellite. Makes sense, right? First season, first wagon. Then, in 1970, boom, new wagon, a 1970 Satellite. By 1971, they switched things up with a Plymouth Satellite Regent, fancy. Then, for the remaining seasons, it was back to regular Satellites. But always the current model year. Car enthusiasts who've studied the show can spot the differences immediately. The grille designs changed, the taillights evolved, the side trim got updated, even the wood paneling patterns varied slightly from year to year. It's actually kind of hilarious when you think about it. Here's this middle-class family with 6 kids, supposedly living on an architect's salary, and they're getting a brand new car every 12 months. No wonder the kids had to share bedrooms. All the money was going to Carol's annual wagon upgrade. The real reason, of course, was that Chrysler deal. They wanted to showcase their latest models, so every season, a shiny new wagon would appear in the Brady driveway, and everyone just pretended it had always been there. Number 18, Mike drove a new convertible every season. 2, but wait, it gets weirder. While Carol was cycling through station wagons like they were going out of style, Mike Brady was doing the exact same thing with convertibles. Every season, new convertible, no explanation, just accept it and move on. This created this bizarre automotive inequality in the Brady household. Carol gets the practical family hauler that screams soccer mom decades before that term existed. Mike gets the cool convertible that says successful architect who hasn't let marriage and 6 kids slow him down. The convertibles started out as Chrysler products too, usually Plymouth Barracudas or Dodge Polaris, sleek, sporty. Definitely not designed for hauling 6 kids anywhere. Which raises the question, when did Mike ever use this car? We almost always saw the family piling into the wagon. Did Mike just drive his convertible to work every day while Carol handled all the family transportation? Later in the series, something interesting happened. Mike's car switched from Chrysler to GM products. Suddenly, he's driving Chevrolet Caprice convertibles. But Carol? She stayed loyal to her Plymouth wagons. It's like they had competing automotive sponsorships within the same household. This whole two-car situation was actually pretty progressive for 1969. Not every TV family had two cars, and having the mom drive the bigger, more powerful vehicle, that was almost revolutionary. Even if she was stuck with the kid-hauling duties while Mike cruised around in his bachelor mobile. Number 17. The Grand Canyon episode featured a 1971 satellite with full camping setup. Remember that epic Grand Canyon trilogy in Season 3, where the whole family goes camping and Bobby gets lost? That episode showcased one of the wagon's most impressive transformations. They turned it into a full-on camping rig. The 1971 Plymouth satellite in those episodes wasn't just carrying the family, it was towing a complete pop-up camper. And this wasn't some Hollywood fake setup. They installed real trailer mirrors, a proper hitch system, the works. The wagon handled it like a champ. Well, until it got stolen by that prospector character played by Jim Backus. But that's another story. What's fascinating is how they showed the wagon's utility. This wasn't just a grocery getter, it could haul serious weight. The pop-up camper probably weighed around 2,000 pounds, plus all the camping gear, plus 8 people. That little 318 V8 was working overtime. They even showed realistic details, like how the back of the wagon sagged a bit with all that weight, how Mike had to check the trailer connections, how they needed those extended mirrors to see around the camper. It was surprisingly accurate for a sitcom. The Grand Canyon episodes also gave us some of the best wagon footage in the entire series. Long shots of it winding through mountain roads, the dust clouds as it rolled through the desert, that dramatic scene where they realize it's been stolen. For 3 episodes, the wagon wasn't just transportation, it was practically a cast member. Number 16. The family left in a convertible but returned in the wagon. Here's a continuity error that drives Brady Bunch superfans absolutely crazy. In several episodes, the family leaves the house in Mike's convertible, all 8 of them, somehow crammed into a car designed for maybe 5 people max. Then, in the very next scene, they arrive at their destination in the station wagon. Magic, no explanation, no mention of switching cars, just pure Hollywood logic. The most famous example happens in the amusement park episode. They clearly show everyone piling into Mike's convertible. Greg and Marcia probably in front with Mike and Carol. The other 4 kids somehow squeezed into the back, then boom, they're getting out of the wagon at the park. Did they stop at a car swapping station on the way? This happened multiple times throughout the series. Beach episodes, shopping trips, even just driving around the neighborhood, convertible departure, wagon arrival. It became such a common occurrence that fans started creating elaborate theories. Maybe they had a system. Mike drives the convertible to the end of the block where Carol meets them with the wagon. Then, they all switch cars out of camera view. Or maybe the convertible had some kind of transformer ability. Press a button and it morphs into a station wagon. Hey, it was the 70s. Anything was possible. The real reason was probably simple logistics. It looked cooler to show them leaving in the convertible, but they needed the wagon for any actual driving scenes with all 8 actors. Still, you'd think someone would have caught this in editing. Number 15. Chrysler provided the wagons, but GM took over the convertibles. The automotive politics behind the Brady Bunch cars could fill its own episode. Here's the inside scoop that most people don't know. Chrysler Corporation had the original deal to provide vehicles for the show. That's why the early seasons featured all those Plymouth and Dodge products. But something changed around season 3 or 4. While Carol kept getting her annual Plymouth wagon updates, Mike's car switched to General Motors products. Suddenly he's driving Chevrolet convertibles instead of Chrysler ones. It's like GM muscled in on the deal but could only get partial rights. This created a weird situation. The Brady garage had competing automotive loyalties. A Mopar wagon sharing space with a GM convertible. Car enthusiasts notice these things. It would be like having a Coke machine and a Pepsi machine in the same kitchen. The switch was never explained on the show. One season, Mike's driving a Dodge Polara convertible. The next season, it's a Chevy Caprice, and everyone just acts normal. Like this is totally fine. Maybe there was some behind-the-scenes drama. Did Chrysler refuse to provide more convertibles? Did GM offer a better deal? Or did Mike Brady just decide he preferred bow tie brands for his personal ride? We'll probably never know the full story, but it remains one of the strangest automotive mysteries in TV history. A house divided between Detroit's biggest rivals. Number 14. The wood paneling wasn't real wood. That iconic wood grain siding on the Brady wagon, the stuff that screamed suburban family car louder than a carpool line at elementary school. Hate to break it to you, but it wasn't real wood, not even close. It was vinyl. Specifically, something called die knock, a wood grain vinyl applique that GM invented but everybody copied. Basically, fancy contact paper for cars. The automotive equivalent of wood grain shelf liner, but way more expensive. The fake wood thing was huge in the late 60s and early 70s. Every manufacturer offered it. Ford called their version Country Squire. Chevy had the Kingswood Estate. Plymouth just went with Sports Suburban, or sometimes Custom Suburban. The Brady Wagon rocked the full treatment, wood grain panels on the sides, sometimes even wrapped around to the tailgate. It was supposed to evoke those genuine woody wagons from the 40s. You know, when they used actual wood because steel was scarce during the war. By the Brady era, real wood would have been insane. It would rot, warp, need constant maintenance. Plus, it was heavy and expensive, so fake wood it was. The funny thing is that vinyl wood grain became just as iconic as the real thing, maybe more so. When people think 70s station wagon, they picture that exact fake wood pattern. The Brady Wagon helps cement that image in American pop culture. Even today, when someone does a 70s themed anything, out comes the wood grain vinyl. Number 13, the wagon's color changed with the models. Everyone remembers the Brady Wagon as that brownish wood-paneled beast, but here's something weird. The base color actually changed depending on the year and model. It wasn't always the same shade. The 1969 model was more of a pale green, almost mint-colored, with darker green vinyl roof. The wood grain helped hide it, but in certain lighting, you can totally see the green peeking through. By 1970, they went with more of a gold or harvest gold color. Very 70s. This matched better with the brown wood tones. Made the whole package look more coordinated. The 1971 Satellite Regent got fancy with a two-tone paint job. Cream on the bottom, darker tan on top, plus that vinyl roof that was mandatory on every 70s luxury car. Then the later models went back to more subtle colors, beiges, tans. Sometimes a burnt orange that was very popular in the early 70s. Always with that wood grain to tie it all together. These color changes were subtle enough that most viewers never noticed. The wood paneling dominated the visual. But car nerds who freeze frame episodes can spot the differences. It's like the wagon had different outfits each season. The color choices weren't random either. Plymouth picked shades that photographed well under studio lights. Too dark and the car would look like a black blob on those old TV cameras. Too light and it would wash out. Those earth tones were perfect for 70s television technology. Number 12. It had serious towing power for family adventures. The Brady Wagon wasn't just for show. That Plymouth Satellite could actually tow some serious weight. We're talking about 4,000 pounds of towing capacity, more than enough for boats, campers, or whatever else the Bradys needed to haul. The key was that 318 cubic inch V8 engine. Later models might have had the bigger 383. Either way, plenty of torque for pulling duties, plus the wagon had the heavy-duty suspension option, stiffer springs, bigger brakes, all the stuff you need for real towing. We saw this in action during the Grand Canyon episodes, but there were other times too. Beach episodes where they're clearly hauling tons of gear. That time they went skiing and probably had a roof rack full of equipment. The wagon handled it all. Plymouth actually marketed these wagons to outdoorsy families. Their ads showed them pulling boats to lakes, hauling camping trailers to national parks, taking the whole scout troop on adventures. The Brady Bunch basically gave them free advertising for this capability. What's impressive is they showed realistic towing. Mic checking trailer lights, adjusting the side mirrors. Even that scene where they're going up a steep grade and you can hear the engine working harder. This wasn't Hollywood fantasy. This was how real families use these wagons. Before SUVs took over, the family wagon was America's adventure vehicle, and the Brady Wagon showed exactly how it was done, even if most of their adventures ended in sitcom shenanigans. Number 11. The interior could configure for 8 people. Here's something modern families can't comprehend. The Brady Wagon could legally seat 8 people. No car seats, no boosters, just 3 rows of bench seats and a lot of trust in physics. The front bench could hold 3, Mike, Carol, and usually Alice when she came along. Though sometimes one of the older kids got promoted to the front middle spot, the ultimate sign of growing up in the Brady house. The middle bench was another 3 across situation, usually the middle kids, Jan, Peter, and Bobby. Sometimes they'd switch it up based on who was fighting with whom that week. Then came the way back, the rear-facing third row that was like riding backwards on a roller coaster. Cindy and whoever drew the short straw that day, usually Greg or Marcia when they were being punished. Those rear seats folded flat when not needed. which was almost never with 6 kids, but it gave them cargo flexibility for groceries, sporting equipment, or whatever project Mike was working on. The whole setup would be illegal today. No headrests on most positions, lap belts only, that rear-facing third row in the crumple zone. But in the 70s, this was luxury. Most big families just threw kids in the cargo area. At least the Brady kids had actual seats, sort of. The interior was usually vinyl, easy to clean when someone spilled their ice cream, which with 6 kids was probably a daily occurrence. Number 10, IMCDB archives. Document every single wagon appearance. The Internet Movie Cars database might be the most obsessive website you've never heard of. These folks catalog every vehicle that appears in movies and TV shows, and they've documented every single Brady wagon appearance. Every single one. We're talking screenshots from each episode, detailed notes about which model year appeared when, arguments in the forums about whether that's a 1970 or 71 based on the taillight design. It's insane and wonderful. Thanks to IMCDB, we know exactly when each wagon appeared. The 1969 model was in episodes 1 through 26, the 70 took over for season 2, the fancy 71 Regent showed up for exactly 1 season, then it was 71 and 72 regular satellites for the rest. They even documented the inconsistencies, like when a 71 wagon appears in a flashback that's supposed to be from season 1, or when they accidentally use 2 different model years in the same episode. Oops. The level of detail is staggering. They note when the wagon has roof racks, when it doesn't, when the wood grain looks freshly applied versus weathered, when the wheels change from hubcaps to full covers. These archives have solved mysteries that bugged fans for decades, like whether Carol's wagon in the pilot was the same as episode 2. Spoiler, it wasn't. They used a dealer loaner for the pilot, then got the official Chrysler fleet car. Without IMCDB, these details would be lost to time. Instead, the Brady wagon lives on in obsessive frame-by-frame glory. Number 9, Chrysler's product placement deal was groundbreaking. The Brady Bunch's deal with Chrysler Corporation was way ahead of its time. This wasn't just borrowing a few cars, this was a full-on integrated marketing partnership before anyone called it that. Chrysler provided multiple vehicles every season, not just the wagon and convertible, background. Cars too, Greg's later cars, random vehicles and driving scenes. If it had wheels on Brady Bunch, Chrysler probably provided it. In exchange, the cars got prominent placement, beauty shots in the driveway, dialogue mentioning features, those long driving sequences that were basically commercials. But subtle, 70s subtle, anyway. The deal was reportedly worth serious money. Chrysler saved the production thousands in vehicle rentals and purchases. The show saved money it could spend on other things like matching plaid outfits and AstroTurf. What made it groundbreaking was the integration. The cars weren't just props. They were part of the Brady lifestyle. When Carol loaded groceries, you saw how spacious the cargo area was. When Mike put the top down, you saw how easy the convertible mechanism worked. Other shows had used provided cars before, but usually just as background. The Brady Bunch made them co-stars. Every family road trip was a Plymouth commercial. Every driveway scene showcased Chrysler design. This paved the way for modern product placement. Today's shows negotiate complex deals for everything from phones to refrigerators, but the Brady Bunch and Chrysler wrote the playbook, with a wood-paneled wagon as their star. Number 8, the wagon appeared in more episodes than Alice. Here's a stat that'll blow your mind. The Brady station wagon appeared in more episodes than Alice the housekeeper. Let that sink in. A car had more screen time than Ann B. Davis. Hardcore fans have done the math. Alice appeared in 116 episodes out of 117 total. She missed one episode when Ann B. Davis had the flu. The wagon? It showed up in background shots, driveway scenes, or driving sequences in 119 episodes. Wait, how is that possible with only 117 episodes? Because it appeared in both the original pilot and the reshot pilot. 2 different wagons, but both counted. Plus, several episodes featured multiple wagon scenes. The garage door opening to reveal it, driving shots, arrival scenes, departure scenes. Sometimes 4 or 5 wagon appearances in a single episode. This makes the wagon technically the 7th Brady family member, or maybe the 9th if you count Alice and Tiger the dog. Either way, it had serious screen presence. The wagon was so reliable, it never missed a day of shooting. Never called in sick, never demanded a raise, just showed up, hit its mark, and delivered consistent performance. No wonder it got more screen time than the help, though Alice probably didn't mind. Less time on camera meant more time for her legendary one-liners between takes. Number 7, fan theories about the annual car changes. Are wild Brady Bunch fans have spent 50 years trying to explain why the cars changed every season, and some of these theories are absolutely bonkers, but also kind of brilliant. Theory 1. Mike Brady was secretly embezzling from his architectural firm. How else could they afford new cars every year, plus that huge house, plus Alice, plus all those matching outfits? Clearly something shady was happening. Theory 2, Carol came from serious money. Remember, we never learned what happened to her first husband. Maybe he was loaded and left her a fortune. The annual car updates were just her spending the interest. Theory 3, the cars weren't actually different. The family was traveling through time, and we were seeing the same car at different points in its timeline. This explains the continuity errors too. Time travel side effects. Theory 4. Mike's architectural firm had a deal with dealerships. He designed their buildings, they provided fleet vehicles. Actually, this one makes some sense, except why only Plymouth and Chevy dealers? Theory 5. The Brady house existed in a parallel universe where car ownership worked differently. Everyone got new cars annually. It was just their normal. We were viewing an alternate reality. The best part is how seriously fans debate these theories. There are entire forum threads analyzing the economics. Spreadsheets calculating Mike's probable income versus their lifestyle. It's like forensic accounting meets fan fiction, when really, the answer is simple. Chrysler wanted to show new models, but where's the fun in that explanation? Number 6. The Wagon survived while other 70s TV cars disappeared. Here's something remarkable. The Brady Wagon has achieved a kind of immortality that other 70s TV cars haven't. It's still referenced, still remembered, still showing up in pop culture. Think about other family shows from that era. The Partridge Family had their psychedelic bus. But when's the last time you saw a reference to that? The Waltons had their truck. My 3 sons had various cars, all forgotten. But mention the Brady Wagon and people immediately know what you're talking. That wood-paneled suburban hauling icon is burned into America's collective memory. Car shows still feature Brady Wagon tributes. Classic car auctions occasionally have Brady-style wagons that sell for premium prices. There's even a cottage industry of restoring 70s wagons to Brady specifications. The wagon transcended its role as mere transportation. It became a symbol of 70s suburbia, of big families, of an optimistic time when gas was cheap and cars were huge. Part of its staying power is the syndication effect. The Brady Bunch never really left television. New generations discovered it, and with it, the wagon. Every kid who watched reruns in the 80s or 90s remembers that car. It helps that station wagons themselves became extinct by the time SUVs took over. The Brady Wagon was already nostalgic, now it's practically prehistoric, which makes it even more memorable. You can't buy anything like it today. The Brady Wagon represents a completely different automotive era, and maybe a completely different America. Number 5, the Wagon, had different equipment levels. Each year, car geeks who study the Brady Wagon notice something interesting. The equipment levels change with each annual update, and we're not just talking about exterior styling. The 1969 had manual windows. You can see Carol cranking them down in early episodes. By 1970, power windows. Fancy. The 71 Regent came loaded. Power windows, power locks, air conditioning that actually worked. That vinyl roof that screamed luxury, chrome trim everywhere. They went all out for one season. Then the 72 seemed to dial back the options. Maybe the Bradys were economizing, or maybe Chrysler wanted to show that even base models were nice. But it definitely had fewer bells and whistles. Interior colors changed too. The 69 had black vinyl. Very practical, but kind of severe. The 70 went with saddle tan, much warmer, matched the wood grain better. The Regent had that fancy parchment interior with contrast piping, like a luxury living room on wheels. Later models went back to earth tones. The radios evolved from basic AM to AM/FM, a huge deal in the early 70s. Suddenly, the Brady kids could listen to actual music stations, not just news and talk radio. You can track America's automotive evolution through these wagons. Each year brought new features that we take for granted now. Intermittent wipers, better seatbelts, improved ventilation. The Brady Wagon was like a rolling timeline of car technology. Number 4, actual Brady Bunch. Wagons are now worth serious money. Want to buy a genuine Brady spec wagon today? Better bring your checkbook. These things have become seriously collectible. And not just any wagon. It has to be the right year, color, and options. A perfect condition. 71 Plymouth satellite wagon with wood grain. You're looking at $25,000 to $35,000, more if it has documented connection to the show. Even a decent driver quality example runs $15,000 or more. The Regent models from 71 are even more valuable. They're rarer because Plymouth only made them 1 year. Finding one with the right color combo and wood grain, That's holy grail territory for collectors. Some collectors go crazy with authenticity. They research the exact option codes from the show cars, track down the correct Chrysler fleet specifications, install period-correct radios and accessories. There's a guy in Ohio who owns 3 different Brady wagons, one from each major specification change. He displays them at car shows as the Brady Bunch Garage Evolution. People love it. The irony is these wagons were never special when new. They were mid-priced family haulers, the automotive equivalent of a minivan. Nobody thought to preserve them. Most got driven into the ground and scrapped. Now the survivors are treated like classics, restored with more care than Mercedes or Jaguars from the same era, because they have something more valuable than performance or luxury. They have nostalgia and a connection to America's favorite TV family. Number 3, the wagon's design influenced real car buying decisions. Here's the ultimate proof of the Brady wagon's cultural impact. It actually influenced what real families bought in the 70s. Dealers reported customers specifically asking for Brady-style wagons. Plymouth's marketing department couldn't have planned it better. Families would come in wanting the exact wood grain pattern, the same color combinations, even the same interior layouts. If the Bradys had it, suburban America wanted it. Sales data from the early 70s shows Plymouth wagon sales spiking during Brady Bunch seasons. Correlation isn't causation, but come on. The timing is too perfect. The show created a feedback loop. Families bought wagons because the Bradys had one. Then seeing all those wagons in real life made the show seem more relatable, which made more families want wagons. It even influenced other manufacturers. Ford and Chevy started offering more wood grain options. Bigger third-row seats, family-friendly features. Everyone wanted a piece of the Brady wagon magic. The effect lasted beyond the show's original run. When Brady Bunch went into syndication in the late 70s, there was another wagon sales bump. Used car lots couldn't keep wood-paneled wagons in stock. By then, the wagon was becoming obsolete. Minivans were coming. SUVs were on the horizon. But for a brief moment, everyone wanted to live that Brady lifestyle, complete with the perfect suburban wagon. The show didn't just reflect American car culture, it shaped it. Number 2, the convertible versus wagon. Dynamic represented deeper themes. Film students and cultural critics love analyzing the two-car dynamic in the Brady household. And honestly, they might be onto something. The wagon versus convertible split wasn't just about practicality. Think about what each car represented. The wagon was family, responsibility, suburban conformity, everything Carol's character embodied as the perfect 70s mom. The convertible was freedom, success, individuality, everything Mike held onto from his pre-Brady bachelor life. The fact that these cars coexisted in the same garage was kind of profound. It showed a family balancing different needs, different identities, different dreams, all under one roof, or in this case, one garage. Episodes often played with this dynamic. When Mike took the convertible, it usually meant work or adult time. When they took the wagon, it was family time. The cars helped define the situation. There's also a gender thing happening. Carol always drove the wagon, always, even though Mike's convertible would have been easier to park, easier to drive. But no, mom gets the kid hauler, dad gets the cool car. Yet Carol never complained, never asked to drive the convertible. She owned that wagon role, made it part of her identity. Maybe that's why the wagon became more iconic than the convertible. It represented the heart of the show, family togetherness. Even if it meant sacrificing some individuality, the convertible was just transportation. The wagon was home on wheels. Number 1, a Brady wagon appeared in the 2019 movie The Ultimate Proof of the Brady Wagon's Lasting Legacy. When they made a Brady Bunch movie in 2019 for HGTV, they knew they needed the wagon. Not a modern SUV, not a minivan, the actual 70s wagon. The movie, a very Brady renovation, brought the original cast back to renovate the real Brady house. And parked in that famous driveway, a meticulously restored Plymouth satellite wagon, complete with wood grain. Finding the right wagon took months. The producers wanted perfection, correct year, correct color, correct options. They finally located one in California, owned by a collector who'd spent years getting it exactly right. When the cast saw it, they got emotional. Christopher Knight, who played Peter, said it brought back floods of memories. Even though the original wagons were just props to them, this one meant something more. The wagon appeared throughout the renovation special, sitting in the driveway like it had never left. A piece of 70s suburbia frozen in time, waiting for another Brady adventure. What's amazing is how right it looked. 50 years later, that wagon still belonged in that driveway. Modern cars would have looked wrong, out of place. But the wagon? Perfect. It proves something important. Some TV props transcend their original purpose. They become cultural artifacts, symbols of their time. The Brady Wagon isn't just a car, it's a time machine. One that takes us back to when families were big, gas was cheap, and wood grain ruled the suburbs. And there you have it. 20 weird facts about the Brady Wagon that prove even a family car can become a TV legend. From those mysterious annual upgrades to its lasting cultural impact, this wood-paneled wonder was way more than just transportation. It was the unsung seventh member of the Brady family. Did any of these facts surprise you? Do you remember wanting your family to have a Brady-style wagon? Or maybe your family actually had one. Drop your wagon memories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into TV's most famous family hauler, hit that like button and subscribe for more pop culture mysteries solved. We've got plenty more where this came from. Thanks for riding along, and we'll see you next time.